I want to kind of create that community so everybody can be brought together, but also everybody can ditch out advice to each other. If someone's like, hey, I'm lagging in this body part, anybody got tips to make this feel a little bit more? Some Joe Schmo that's from the chat, that's whatever, says, hey, I got a perfect solution. They can text each other on the side, whatever.
Have you thought about like things like Discord, Telegram, things like that? Just you'll get around to it? Okay.
Discord's the main one.
Okay, cool.
Thanks,
Okay.
Dick.
Guys, how's it going? I'm Teddy. You're tuned in to the Cheat Day Podcast. We're going to be talking to Bryce Trout right here. He's a personal trainer / business student, social media funny man. You've probably seen some of his videos with millions of views on TikTok and Instagram. We're going to be talking about social media, steroids, and how he's increased one of his clients' bench press by 100 pounds in 1 year. He's swole, he's shredded, he's natural. Does he know something we don't? Probably. We're going to find out. This is the Cheat Day Podcast brought to you by Trainer Hub, where we talk to real personal trainers about everything fitness every week. Like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell for the latest content here on YouTube. Let's jump in. Bryce, that was a mouthful, all right?
That was. You killed it, though.
But did I miss anything? Tell the viewers more about yourself.
Let's see. I basically started taking off on social media at the beginning of 2022. That was basically the one thing I had in mind at the beginning. I popped off, got to about 20,000 on TikTok, took a little break, and then I would believe it was like March that I started taking off, and then recently it's just been this surge. Now we're at 50K on Instagram. Now we're at almost 90K on TikTok. We're just always going up.
Okay, so your Instagram and TikTok, it's Bryce Trout.
Yes.
All right. First off, I'm a little confused. Why Trout? Is that your last name? Are you a fish?
No. I like to keep it separate. I don't want to be associated with my real government. You know what I mean? I like having like the fact that it's like one letter changes the entire persona of me. I love that.
Okay.
And it's like Trout. I think that's more comical. And Trout in high school. This one senior came in, middle of school, it was start of the day, and he goes, Trout! And just like from that day on, they always called me Trout throughout high school because it just rhymes with my last name. And it's like, I was thinking of a username, I'm like, Bryce Trout kind of clicks. And then so I just stuck with it, and now I believe everybody thinks that's me.
Wow, I love it. I wish I could change my name. Wow, weren't we just talking about that, changing your name? Bryce, you are a funny man. You're a social media. You're pretty much a comedian now, and I think comedy's changing because more and more people have more and more platforms to get, you know, jokes out. Mm-hmm. Where did that start?
First off, it was on TikTok. Was the one platform that I was kind of targeting. I knew it was a pretty vulnerable place. Everybody was blowing up. It was super easy to get your video on someone's For You page. And so I just started off making like pretty original content, just like the norm, something you would see on your For You page, nothing out of the ordinary. And then I don't know what it was. I was just working out with my brother in a gym, and I was just like, threw out a Ronnie Coleman impression. And I was just like, that didn't sound that bad. And I was just like, what if you have the camera, act like you're doing something, and I'm in the back doing the Ronnie Coleman impression. Boom, made it, post it. Overnight, it's like 300,000 views when I wake up. And I'm like, something worked. And I was just like, I think I can take this off. I think I can expand it, do a bunch more of ideas, a lot more different scenarios of Ronnie Coleman.
So when was this?
Like January, February.
January of
this year.
Of this year?
Yeah.
You got started on TikTok.
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Wow. And how many views did that get?
I think that one was like probably like 400,000 to 500,000, but like my most viewed Ronnie Coleman one was probably like 2 million.
Can we pull that up? Can Can I see what we're
That's
dealing with
deep.
here? Deep in there, huh?
No,
we'd have to.
I don't have too many videos, so it's easy to search.
Connor, you know a little bit about social media. You only have what? How many?
My realm is Instagram. That's what I grew up in, for lack of better words. In Hawaii, that was like the it thing. So a really big sort of household name at this point. Jay Alvarez was sort of like, I feel like he was kind of the first kid to really do that whole aesthetic on Instagram. I could be totally wrong, but I think that inspired me. That inspired a lot of people. There's a surfer that is cloned exactly like what he's done aesthetically, and it's done really well. I think you can do that over and over again, and it'll work. I think. So yeah, so right here we've got 2 million. Right
That's
there.
a Sebum one.
Okay.
Further down is.
Okay. Do you want to watch the Schaefer? Or should we?
Well, I want to see the one that got the most. Yeah, let's watch it.
We got 2 million. I mean, that's good numbers.
And it cannot be that bad.
Stop. What is up, YouTube? Gonna be doing a physique update. Feeling kind of big today for some reason. Yeah, it's just like little shit like that.
Can you say that again, but with the lisp?
What
If just little fit,
YouTube?
if little fit like that.
Now, you guys need to Sebum sounds really. Who is that? That sounds really familiar.
What? That's Sebum.
No, but
He's
I know
over
it.
in Tampa, right? Is
that-
he?
Oh,
No,
Sebum's
he's up in Palm Beach.
He's in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Just
Who's
the
the one
person
in?
that has that,
Oh, okay.
pretty
Yeah.
much. Oh wow.
There's somebody over in Tampa. Wow. All right.
Now, Bryce, when you say I have to dig, how?
I didn't
how-
know that.
You're getting close.
I'm getting close.
You're getting
Okay.
warm.
Okay. Warm. Okay, I'm seeing Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah. This is where
Warmer.
uh,
Getting there.
I don't know about a 2 mil one in this deep.
Okay. Oh, you
But-
got 2 mil right there.
That's like one of the original ones.
Okay. So this
But
is
like
when you first
but
started.
yeah, like 2 to 600,000 is like where the Ronnie Coleman era
Okay.
was.
Okay.
So he's doing numbers.
Okay.
Off rip.
He's doing numbers.
That was
Off
when
rip. Yeah.
that was when I was like 8 to 10,000.
So you have a car one right there clocked in at 2 million Schaefer. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hit that one and
take
I
the
was like,
glasses
Car
off.
stuff does really good on
really
TikTok.
well. It does
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah.
Okay. You went through a little rough patch on TikTok.
A little bit. I would say it's just like the pressure of trying to put out content because
Yep.
once you start putting out a certain amount of content, a little bit of consistency here and there, everybody's expecting something. Everybody's expecting that next video to be bigger than the last one. And so with that, once you get 10 videos, 20 videos deep, and then you're like, you come to a point where you're like, damn, I'm really rinsing out these ideas. They're kind of getting dry. They're getting overplayed. Then you start seeing some of the comments that are saying that too. Starts getting to your head a little bit. And then, I don't know, for me, I just wanted to stop and just kind of revamp myself and kind of collect everything, take a step back, see if their creative genius can come back.
Well, tell me about the reboot because you're back up on TikTok now. I mean, you're
Yeah. So I took like a month and a half off once that decline happened, and then picked up the phone again, and I was just like, just watching. This is when Chris Bumstead was popping off. I think it was after his second Olympia, and picked up the phone, and I was just like, I think I can do that lisp. And so found some good lighting in my house, and I was just like, let's let it fly. Did the first take, and I'm like, whoa, that was really close to being like perfect. Did the second take, boom, that was perfect. And now it's like, if you go up, it's like 2.3 mil, 2.6
Wow.
maybe. And so from then on, I just like absolutely, completely did every single thing I could with the Chris Bumstead impression because he's him in the fitness industry. So who better to impersonate and to make a platform off of? So
You're not just doing Chris Bumstead though. You like you said, you started out with Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
Who else have you done?
Greg Doucette, Joe Aesthetics, Joe Linder. Who else have I done? Derek from moreplates.com. Yeah.
So-
I like Derek.
So
Derek's cool.
you got a mean German accent then?
I could do a little bit of a German accent.
That's Joe. That's
That's
Joey.
Joe.
That's
That's
Joey.
Joe
Can you
Litter
do
talking
Arnold?
about that.
Do you have an Arnold?
I mean, you can do a little bit of an Arnold.
Ah, that's pretty good.
It's okay. It's okay. I never did it. I did a video about it because I just think it's overplayed a lot. Like,
Yeah.
too many people have tried, and I'm like,
What about Aussie? Can you do
Aussie?
Aussie? Australian? Can you do?
A little bit of an Australian accent.
That one has sort of, there's like a cadence to it. I feel like it's really hard to replicate. I don't know much about like their dynamics of like vocal stuff, but I feel like it's hard.
I mean, once you get down under a couple times.
Well,
Like
man.
I'm coming from a place of when I watch surf videos, I'll watch kids from the outback that are like deep out there and they're like just running it, and I'm like, wow, that's like some very thick Australian.
Yeah. There's definitely different levels of it.
Yeah.
You know what I get confused with Australian is South African a lot. I get that confused a lot. Callum Von Moger, though, I mean, can you do that? You got to do it.
Not a chance. I mean, I haven't
Really?
even watched any of his content in years just because, I mean, how many episodes he's been through now?
Yeah, poor guy, huh?
What does he?
Probably better to leave him out of that
think
pool.
so?
Yeah. I mean, he just like jumped out of a second-story window, so.
Still, man, I have a lot of respect for him.
I do
mean,
too. I think he could have been one of the top IFBB pros in classic physique easily.
Was there any sort of information on what brought him to that point?
I think it was like, I can't remember what kind of drugs, but it was
I
definitely.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
he was always crazy. I mean, he got injured a bunch of times.
Yeah. But that's what taking that amount of steroids like that, it's going to do it to you.
Yeah, what's that saying? It sort of comes with the territory at that point. The map
Yeah.
comes with the territory. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about your TikTok again. You're posting on TikTok. When was the last time you posted on TikTok?
Today.
Today. Okay. You have a schedule that you do?
Yeah, I got some posting times that have, like, over collective data, they analyze that each time of this day is when most people are on that.
Okay.
So I try to target that, get close to it. Sometimes, I don't know, it's kind of like placebo. Sometimes I feel like if I'm not fucking the second on the dot, it's not going to work. And then sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. So it goes back and forth.
Did you notice that there was a trick to getting a bunch of followers right off the bat, or did you get lucky?
I don't know about lucky, because lucky would be me getting reposted by like Chris Bumstead, Greg Doucette. Like, that's getting lucky. That's getting those videos that catches their attention. But at the same time, it's because they're good quality videos. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I expected you to like see that one, kind of. But I would say it was because I was such a loner in terms of no one was doing impressions like I was, especially in the TikTok gym realm. Like, nobody was doing it. So I was kind of a pioneer of that. Still nobody's doing it. But I think that's one of the biggest things you can do as a small up-and-coming social creator, whatever you want to call it, is target yourself out of the norm. Don't follow into trends. Create your own trends.
Okay.
So that's what I do.
So go very niche.
Exactly.
Well,
Once you find your niche.
what's more important to you in your content then, comedy or fitness?
Comedy, for sure.
Really?
Because I could do fitness videos. I can do like tutorials on how to do a back day, how to open up your back, how to unlock your triceps, shit like that. But there's so many videos every single
I
day.
was just about to say.
It's so rinsed out and so repeated every single time. And it's like, if I was 3 years younger seeing this kind of content out now, I wouldn't know where the fuck to look. Because there's so many people saying 10 different fucking things about the same thing. It's like, just go in the gym and fucking lift. You'll figure it out. Stop watching these influencers that are giving you 20 different like tips
Yeah.
that are all different.
Well, do
So-
you think that interest in fitness has kind of dropped off over the last few years just because there is such an oversaturation of everybody saying, you know, I've got the secret workout, I've got the tip here that you need to know, and it's like, turns out all kind of to be similar. I mean, what do you think?
For the content, yes. But in terms of like just people genuinely getting in the gym, I feel like that hasn't regressed. I feel like it's only progressed. And I feel like we're at one of the biggest surges of gym culture that we've been to since Arnold era. So
Okay. So I think you're probably then sort of ahead of the curve there with the comedy and fitness together on social media. You know, everybody that I see getting on social media, they take fitness very seriously.
Very
you know?
seriously.
And, you know, either they do fitness or they don't do fitness, but there's very little comedy mixed in there. You're kind of like full comedy, and I'm wondering if that's going to bring sort of a resurgence to fitness. My opinion is fitness has dropped off a little bit, at least the percentage of interest. Obviously, the population's growing, right? So more and more people are going to be going to the gym, but it may be slowing down on a percentage
Now, on the flip side of
basis.
that coin, quickly, I feel like you don't have comedians that are even remotely close to being in shape, at least that I've seen. I feel like every comedian that I watch, none of them talk about fitness. Maybe like Kevin Hart, but that's it.
Yeah.
There's like nobody else.
There is one comedian. Go to our Instagram page and go to who we're following. There is one comedian, and he's huge. I mean, and I think he's probably in his 50s, but he's huge, and he's a funny guy. I mean, he's hilarious, and not a lot of people know him.
Okay.
I can't remember his name, but
There is someone.
there are a couple, but
There
it's
is
not a
someone.
lot. It's not a lot.
Yeah.
So you might be onto something here. Do you have any advice for people that might want to do something similar?
In terms of
Social media.
starting off, I would say definitely don't stay on one path. Sample different kinds of areas that you don't really feel comfortable with, and then maybe one could work better for you, maybe one doesn't. But the point is, you're trying to diversify yourself and you're trying to get out there and create the trend. I truly believe that if you follow the trends, you're just going to fall off eventually. Sometimes with TikTok, you can have those unicorn kind of kids like Max Taylor. He's got like 4 million followers on TikTok. But it's because everybody loves seeing his face. He's just got one of those. And unfortunately, not all of us are gifted like that or have that kind of luck. But that's why I don't really have, like, if I tried to emulate that same kind of pattern, I would fail eventually. I would easily fall off. So the way I did it was completely hopping off the trend, going to a deep end that nobody's gone to, and I made something off of it.
Wow.
So pick a lane.
Pick a lane, yeah, and just drive.
I like it.
Make the layup.
Well,
Jelly package.
Connor, you're a big Instagram guy.
Yeah.
Did you pick a lane?
Yeah, I mean, tying it back to what I was saying with that sort of aesthetic, when I got started on Instagram, it was like 2011, I think, or 2012. And where I'm from in Hawaii, like, I remember Instagram at the time, Hawaii has this culture where, like, anything digital is sort of like, they don't view it as a waste of time, but it's not really, like, glorified very much out there, I guess is the best way to say it. When I got started, I remember making an Instagram account, and people were like, why the fuck would you make an Instagram account? That's so stupid. Like, it's never going to do anything, da-da-da, it's a waste of time. Sort of like TikTok in some regard. Everyone's like, and I see a lot of people posting about TikTok, like, they're stealing this, they're stealing that. Dude, Instagram and Facebook already has, they have the info, right?
Yeah.
TikTok, yeah, they might be collecting some more information. If you have an Instagram account, you're active on social media, they have that portfolio, right, of you. But I remember at the time it was, they're going to take your, this, and it's going to be out there on the internet, and da-da-da-da. And I was like, well, sort of like what you were saying. Don't listen to what the mass is saying.
Exactly.
Sort of like figure out what, like, if you want to do it, cool. But if you don't want to do it, then try something else out. Don't again, yeah, pick a lane. So yeah, I did, to answer your question.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And you're still kind of active on that, right?
I
mean,
like it. I think it's great.
Are you still growing on IG? You're not trying though, probably.
I'm not really trying. I have about 150-ish posts up right now. I've gone through and refined a lot of that. Some of it wasn't brand friendly.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But no, I think if you're trying on Instagram, it's like any platform. It's like you find something that starts working, and if you double down on that and keep moving forward with it, you'll grow. But you can also hit that burnout, like what you're saying, where you feel like you have to make all this content all the time. You have creators that get started and stuff. They love it. Mm-hmm. They love doing it for a couple years, and then boom, they disappear off the platform. And I think it's because of that burnout.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Well, Bryce, what do you think about that?
The pressure of social media?
Yeah.
It's tough because it's hard to be in a position where people rely on you. People don't rely on your content, like they can't live without it type shit.
Right.
But at the same time, if you're that big, and like, for example, like Gideon, he's one of the biggest rising stars on YouTube right now. And he recently just like had a decent hiatus, and someone like me that loves watching his content, I was like, where the fuck are you?
Yeah.
So it's not too much pressure. It's the pressure to yourself that, hey, I'm not putting out the right amount of content. I'm not making shit anymore that is hitting, that is trending. What am I doing wrong? And then that can put pressure on yourself. So I think it's more mental than kind of your audience putting the pressure on you.
And Bryce, I wanted to tie into that. It's very similar sort of to a Connor Murphy situation where
Yeah.
interests change or they do something that physically alters their mind and they go down this path where, you know, I was staying pretty updated on Connor Murphy. I loved watching the Connor Murphy videos. He was such a funny he still is.
Yeah.
Definitely had, you know, some trials and tribulations he went through. But yeah, I remember loading up his channel and like, where the fuck is this dude?
Can you walk the viewers through what happened with him?
Absolutely. So, you know, Connor Murphy was someone that I grew up watching. He was like the Z's of, I feel like, my time in a way. He had the aesthetic. He was a funny dude. He always sort of had this kind of like awkward but like very personableness to him. And I think that's what made him so watchable because when we're watching Connor Murphy in high school, we're like, dang, this dude's kind of a nerd. But then he gets jacked and he goes and picks up girls. I was like, that's awesome. I was like, that's so cool. Connor Murphy, I think, somebody will have to like go and fully do a deep dive on this, but from my knowledge, did ayahuasca, sort of got sent down this rabbit hole, did ayahuasca a lot after doing it that one time and fried his brain. And he started posting videos on Instagram, YouTube. He's a wizard. I saw one video of him on a scooter with a wizard hat, and he's like zapping people with a staff.
Yeah, well, hey, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
We've all done that.
Normal things.
Yeah.
So he's a great guy. I've actually met Connor Murphy. I met him at Saddle Ranch in LA prior to all of this happening. He was there. David Dobrik was there. Danny Duncan was there. Bless his heart. Love Connor Murphy. He's cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully
he's jumping back in.
He's jumping back in, which is great.
Thank God.
That's awesome. So.
Sheesh. Yeah, I actually didn't know a lot about Connor Murphy, so that's why I asked
you did the deep
Yeah.
dive.
I'm going to go back and watch this, yeah, 'cause I was like, what happened? Wow, that's pretty crazy, though.
It got really bad where he was literally taking his bank account, and I don't know if you saw this, Bryce, but he was taking his bank account and posting, like, not even just bank account stuff, like bills, credit card numbers, just posting it all out on the internet. I don't know if you got this deep into this, but it was really crazy for a while. And
Wow.
I think he had a girlfriend at the time. I don't know where the fuck she was, but she should have definitely pulled him aside and been like, you're literally ruining your career. I get it. Like, take a break if you need to. Just don't put that out there on social media. You know?
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, some of those drugs work okay for some people. You know,
Not so great for other people.
DMT kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
did a whole lot for me. No,
Confession.
that's why we're all wearing the glasses right now. By the way, these are Nevins. If y'all want to check these out, they don't sponsor us, but they're cool glasses. Nevin, cool glasses. Anyway,
Very comfortable too.
yeah, not bad. Those are Nevins. You
These
look
are
like
Nevins.
yeah, you look crazy,
I
man.
know.
Wild.
Reluctant.
Yeah, you're a personal trainer too. I don't think everybody's really. We haven't really talked about that yet.
No.
And I don't think they know that. But you are a certified personal trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Your first client, who happened to be a friend of yours,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which when you're trying to work out at LA Fitness, they don't let individual trainers, bring in clients. So actually, it's kind of a little thing. I hope I'm not spilling too many secrets. I don't want to get cut off by LA Fitness, but I don't, Anyway, yeah, a little trick is to bring, your friend into the gym at LA Fitness and train with them, and then they'll pay you afterwards. That's probably not what you were doing. I think he was your actual friend. But you got his bench press, you increased his bench press by 100 pounds in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Walk me through that.
So we started off, wanted a baseline. Where's his bench at? That was the one target, one compound movement that we were like, we're going to lock down on this for a year. We're going to put 100 pounds. That was first step, first order. So his baseline was 165, and trust me, that's a grind. So for the first, I would say 2 to 3 weeks was just nailing his technique. Technique is 100% key reasons as to if you're trying to put as much pounds on a compound lift, you got to have perfect technique.
Can I ask you, are you just training him for bench, or are you training him?
No, overall bodybuilding.
Okay, and so you probably started out sticking to the basics,
Yeah.
just squats, pull-ups or pull-downs, and bench press.
Yeah, just
and
all
you,
basic
and you
shit.
focused on form on all three right off the bat.
Yeah,
Okay.
because someone who's as new as him, not comfortable with the gym, all these lifts are pretty awkward for people that, if you're athletic, it helps a lot, for sure.
Sure.
Because you can get used to it really quick, just like any sport. But at the end of the day, it's all still awkward for people having weight on their back, having weight above them. So first thing we did for 2 to 3 weeks was absolutely nail technique. Rinse and repeat every single time. I literally would just tell him to stop benching if his technique was not flawless. So once that was locked in, probably took about 2 months for him to have, not perfect, but near. So 2 to 3 months in, probably get to about 205, 210 is what he started benching. And then probably about marker 4 month, he was about 225. And that was when it was like, all right, it's serious.
It's go time, yeah.
Because at the first, for any new lifters, it's those first 6 months, you're literally on gear. It's that's why I tell people to absolutely abuse your body for those first 6 months, because you're never going to be able to repeat it unless you take gear. But beginner gains is 100% a real thing, so don't count it out. Push yourself through those 6 months. So rigorously training every single day, probably 6 days a week he was training at the time, because he can recover really quick. So gets to 225, and after 225 you start to plateau, you start to fall off.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big weight, and especially he was at 155, 150 for his body weight, so this was a no joke. Regardless, still a really good bench for that body weight. So once we got to 225, I'm like, all right, this is when accessories start to come into play. So we moved to pin pressing, paused work, switch over to incline dumbbell, just changing up angles. If there's any imbalances, we're going to fix them. So everything has to be perfectly linear when you're benching. So fix that, and his bench starts going up, gets to 245. And mainly for all the sets we're doing 3x5s, I believe that's key for any kind of movement that just builds the most amount of weight that you can possibly get in the shortest amount of time. Even over time, it still does. So get to 245, start to fall off. About a month straight, he probably did that weight and continuously failed. We did a little trick to where we put wrist wraps around his elbows, so it gives him a little more
Right.
shock, a little more speed, and it flew up. But I believe that doing something like that, like the slingshot, I think that really gets you used to the weight. I think if you hold out 50 pounds more than your PR, hold it there for 10 seconds, rack it back up, obviously with a spot, be safe. And I think that just gets you really used to the weight. So
Well, you know what I think, and look, I might be the only one. All right, this isn't a proven thing, but I think because I plateaued at 225, and it took me, it took me maybe a couple years to get up to 275, maybe more than that. And looking back at it, it wasn't so much that the weight was too heavy for me, but I think it's visually, when you see 2 plates go on each side, it's
intimidating.
Like, it is intimidating, and it's like you walk up to that and you know it's heavy, right?
Yeah.
And you feel the weight, and it's like every time you walk up to it, it's like that's going to be that heavy every single time, right?
yeah,
The weight doesn't change, and I think that's the thing, is the weight doesn't change, but I think your mentality has to change along with your physiology, and but I think the mentality comes first, because I don't think you can change your physiology without going in there with the mentality that I'm going to make this weight feel lighter. And that was kind of the trick you did. It was kind of a placebo, like
Yeah.
saying, all right, you're going to have the bench. I'm going to give you the bench by yourself,
Yeah.
all right? And you're going to be in full control of it. And you're going to see that with this little bit of extra help, which in the future will represent more muscle, you're going to be able to get that bench up no problem. And maybe subconsciously just something clicked in his mind and he's like, all right, you know what, I can do that,
Yeah.
right? And he's like, well, I want to do that now. You know, it's like you go into the gym, it's like, I don't want to lift 225 because that's heavy. But then he does it by himself and he's like, okay, now I want to do that, you know, and I want to keep going. So, you know, I think that's a thing. I mean,
The same thing's true in surfing. You go out and you surf a 6-foot day by yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you get the confidence if you're coming from a 2-foot day. If you go and surf a 10-foot day by yourself, you secure that confidence. I feel like that's what it's all about.
it's like skydiving. I mean, I think it's stepping outside of that comfort zone, you know, and just realizing that you can be uncomfortable. You know, and once you reach a certain point, you get used to that uncomfortability, and in a certain area, you get comfortable. I went hunting in Georgia one time. We used to have a property there, and we lived on the side of a mountain. And me and my brother took climbers, the climber stands. Well, they're not stands, but they climb up the tree and you sit in them, and they're kind of like blinds, and you know, it's a good way to get out of sight of deer. And man, we hiked maybe, I don't know, almost a mile uphill, maybe a little more than that. And it was treacherous. We had a ton of equipment on our back. It was easily over 50 pounds. And when you're going uphill, that's a lot of weight. But that wasn't the worst part. It was cold. And we got up there and we waited until dusk, and we didn't see any deer. And we're like, you know what? We'll just stay up here. We'll stay in the tree overnight. And it was insanely miserable. There was wind. It was freezing. There were coyotes running underneath us next to the trees, and that was like nothing. It was like, I don't care about the coyotes right now. I am dying. I'm dying. So we make it through the night, maybe with like 30 minutes of sleep, and we make it all the way back down the mountain the next day, and it's like, wow, you know, we just stayed overnight in sub-freezing weather in a tree with wind chill, you know, not enough to keep us warm, and we did it, you know. And it's like, had we gone into it, like expecting that, right? Like expecting the wind chill, we wouldn't have done it.
No.
And I think it's the same concept with working out. You know, I think when you see those two plates, you know what to expect, right? You know it's going to be heavy, right? I think, I don't know. I just think there's something to, you know, the way people view weights and the gym that stops people. I think it impedes their growth.
Well, you can make it easy or you can make things hard, right? For everything. You can make something easy or you can make it hard. And if you make it hard, it's going to be hard. And if you make it easy, it's going to be easy.
Usually the things worth doing are the hard things, you know?
Yeah, there's a bigger payoff.
That's what Tom Platt said about squatting. He said, you know, everybody else is trying to
Do something
do
else.
the easy stuff. They're trying to, you know, work out something good. He said, go squat. That's the hardest workout. Go squat.
Try
Nobody
to
else
remember
is doing it.
Z's quote, go to festivals and party hard.
Yeah, because who's doing that?
He's amazing.
Anyway, that's my philosophy on it, you know.
Yeah, I think once you're with your training partner, go for a PR. He gives you a lift off, you hit it, right? You're still not confident that you can hit that weight. You just hit that weight that one time. Once you do it a couple more times, get a little more comfortable with the weight, all of a sudden your gym partner's not there, but you feel like you're ready to put that weight on, and then lift it off for yourself, do everything by yourself. That's when you actually can push that weight. Like, you don't need any assistance. You don't need someone to take it off the rack for you. You have the confidence to take it off the rack and press it. But for me, I feel like when you're banging out something for like 10 reps, that's when you're officially tossing it.
Yeah.
That's when the weight is like irrelevant to you at that point.
Right.
But
Bryce, what do you think is the hardest? What do you think is the hardest exercise, or let me rephrase that. What do you think is the hardest challenge every single day going into the gym to overcome, or obstacle to overcome? We're talking about mental stuff, physical stuff. We're on that note. Maybe something from personal experience that, you go to the gym and it's a mental thing for you, or...
Well, lately, everybody's been talking about how do I get the motivation? And
keeping that long-term motivation.
Exactly. It's like, of course, over time, you do you work out for 2 to 3 years naturally. You're gonna lack motivation for sure. You're not gonna see the same gains that you used to when you were a starter. But I think when you start searching for motivation, that's when it starts disappearing. Because I think discipline over motivation is what keeps it going. Because longest road's consistency over time. So once you start saying, oh, like, where do I find this motivation? You don't. It's called, you still go to the fucking gym because you know that progress is waiting at the end of the tunnel.
That's right.
So
I agree.
I think that's the biggest challenge. I keep getting comments and DMs and shit. Where do I get the motivation? Like, how do you stay motivated? I don't. There's days I don't want to go.
Do you sort of feel like somebody either has it or they don't at that point? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Because that's quit.
Okay.
I think that's quit once you're trying to find something that makes you want to stay.
Right.
Not you stay because of discipline.
Like, you could be in the gym for hours and hours.
Yeah.
And that is sort of a proving ground right there. Like,
Exactly.
if you're willing to stay there for hours and hours, there's a high chance you're going to be at the gym for a long time.
100%.
I fully disagree, actually.
Okay.
I think fear is the best motivator. I think if you show people what they could be if they don't go to the gym, they would be so scared of that they would do anything else. No, not FOMO.
Okay.
FOMO is what you're describing. Being able to be in the gym for hours and missing out on that, that's FOMO. I say forget all that. Show them what they could be like if they don't go to the gym, right? If they spend hours and hours doing something else, right? Knowing that they could be in the gym, but you say, 2 years down the road, you're going to be the same person you are now. Do you want to be the same person you are now, or do you want to grow, right? And I think most people will be afraid not to grow, to maybe become a worse version of themselves. And I think going to the gym is all about becoming a better version of yourself. I mean, what do you
Strong body,
think?
strong mind.
Well, yeah. I don't know if you know Mike Menser. Look him
Sounds
up.
familiar.
He's got a philosophy. He was a 70s bodybuilder, and he's got a philosophy where if you go to the gym and you push your body as hard as you possibly can, you push a weight as hard as you can, you will get stronger, right? Hands down. You go back a week later, you and do the same exercise, you will be able to do more weight, right? It may be 1 pound more weight, 2 pounds more weight, but if you don't go and push your body as hard as you possibly can, you may not be able to do that weight the next week. And it's a big motivator knowing that, if I don't do that, if I'm not going to do this, I could be weaker next week, right? And, it's true. Mike Menser, though, he's got and he was ahead of his time. And he advocated for like the 1 to 2 rep sets and only doing like 4 sets. And he spent 2 hours in the gym every single week, and he was up there with the top bodybuilders. Obviously, he was on gear with everybody else, but I don't know. Check him out. Definitely ahead of his time, for sure.
So he's stacking small wins. You go to the gym every day, you get a pound or 2 extra.
He said, don't go to the gym every day. Go to the gym once every 72 hours. Work out for 45 minutes to an hour, and go as heavy as you possibly can, and then go back another 72 hours later and do the next thing, and then next week you're going to be able to lift more weight.
Now, a question for me to both of you guys. When you go to the gym now, maybe even more a little directed at you, Bryce, because I know you have so much gym and training knowledge. If you go to the gym every single day a week, and let's say you're hitting it for an hour to an hour and a half, you're doing your routine, can you overwork your nervous system? Like, is that a real thing?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah. Your body, when you work out, you release free radicals. You release those are the cells that cause cancer. Right? That's what causes cancer.
Wow.
And
I did not know that. Wow.
yeah, when you break down your muscles, you release all kinds of chemicals, and it's really important not to overstress your body. You know, you can, but the guys that do, they end up getting injured later in life.
Right.
And if you don't overstress your body and you give it time to, again, this is Mike Mentzer's philosophy, you give it time to fully recover, your body's gonna be stronger, when you come back. But yeah, you can overstress your body for sure. And your body needs the stress, right? Otherwise it can't handle that amount of stress, right? You're supposed to stress your body, but you shouldn't overstress your body. I mean, you're the personal trainer though, what do you think?
100%. I think it might have been that guy that you were talking about, Mike Mentzer. Because I remember watching an interview and he was saying that he only trains like 4 hours out of the week or some shit.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, but he looks, but he was one of the top bodybuilders at the time. But I don't believe to that, to that level of not go to the gym. But I do think that if you're not leaving at least 48 hours in between body parts, you're not going to recover. You're not going to progressive overload, and you're going to start doing muscle atrophy. So I definitely think that those starting off, you could probably get away with it. Like, you can probably, for small amount of time, you can probably do that. But over time, you're going to realize that, I haven't gone up on that weight in a year. And then you're like, let me take a step back. Let me look at what's wrong. I only have one rest day out of my 7 days. Like, how insane does that sound? So for me personally, I was a exact product of that. I was absolutely overtraining and didn't realize it because I thought, oh, you only rest like you can push past those days where you don't feel like going. But in reality, it's like you're not listening to your body. You're not listening to your body saying, I'm going to shut down if you don't stop right now.
Right.
And so I think that's this guy, Wicked Training, Mike Van Wyck, I think is his name. But he talks about how you want to know when a rest day is optimal, listen to your fucking body.
Yeah.
Stop organizing it to be a set-up day. When your body is destroyed, you know that you probably can't go through that workout that day.
Yeah, I've
fucking
heard
take it
that
off.
too.
So, and a lot of kids, 15 to 17 range, they're too ignorant to say,
Right.
take a step back.
It's the grind set motivation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're-
Well,
Every
also
day.
at that age, their body's recovering faster.
Yes.
I think when you're a teen, your body's recovering so fast.
But guys on steroids, okay.
Well,
their turnaround times.
How much do you guys
Yeah.
think nutrition plays into going up in weight on top of, like, let's pretend somebody is giving themselves that adequate rest time. How much, like, what's the percentage split in your mind for nutrition to training? Can you eat like shit and take a couple days off and it's hard to say?
For me, I can be an example of eating like shit and still progressing.
Okay.
Now,
what's your version of eating like is this like a McDonald's run or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like consistently.
Okay.
So, but I do think that it's just, if you're in a caloric surplus, 500 minimum, you're going to put on weight.
Okay.
Like, that's not going to be your issue.
Okay.
Your training is. But at the same time, eating clean is so vital to the long term, but also to your short term, because you're putting in goods, you're putting in that good, not that shit. You're probably going to get up that weight. So,
I don't know much about powerlifting, but I see those guys that eat 10,000 fucking calories in a day, and it's Oreos and milk and McDonald's, and they can do this weight. They can do
what they're
crazy
not
amounts of
telling
weight.
you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they are getting their protein.
yeah.
They are getting their vitamins,
Okay.
and they're putting everything maybe in a shake, right? And they're
just
at least
blending it.
they're at least getting what they need, right? And it's good. It's great entertainment on the camera to see these massive guys just eating like trash, right? And still having like an insanely low body fat. And that's really, really hard to do unless you're in a caloric deficit or you're on steroids, and that's what steroids do. I mean, that's one of the things, steroids let you recover a lot faster. They pump a lot more blood. In fact, if you're on steroids, you probably have at least 2 quarts more blood than the average person out there. Your body produces more blood when you're on steroids. That's another thing, though. It boosts your metabolism, and anything you take in, is going either to your muscles or downstream.
I'd be really curious to see a study on that, since you do have more blood being increased in the body. You've got more volume of that. I'm sure your ATP is probably high, very high. Will that cause failure in cells, failure in organs, and maybe that's that issue that occurs within bodybuilding, right? Their heart will fail, their liver will fail, or is that just a side effect of these steroids because this drug will cause cirrhosis of the liver, or something like that? I don't know.
I mean, some of the recent deaths in bodybuilding, some of the big names, Cedric McMillan, Sean Roden. I want to see when they release those that research, because I believe that like a bunch of blood clots could 100% cause that. And
Yeah, more blood in the body, more potential for clotting.
Because your body's flowing that blood naturally, and then the second you're adding 2 to 3 times, your blood's thicker. It's going to slow the travel.
And then you stack that, say, with the circulation issue that somebody might not even know about, and then boom, they're toast.
And with that rigorous training amount that you're doing, because you can recover faster, fucking God knows how hard your fucking beat is, how hard your heart is beating.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty, I think it's actually a pretty well-known thing, because if you have more blood in your veins, that's going to increase your blood pressure dramatically. If 2 quarts of blood is going to increase your blood pressure dramatically. And you see these guys with big veins, right? And it's like, oh, he's juicing, right? And that's not to take away from people who are on gear and going to the gym and working hard. I'm not taking away from their hard work and from their gains, right? They're doing it for a reason, and they're reaping the rewards for that, and good on them. I just think people, you should at least understand the risks. If you're going to be doing steroids, expect high blood pressure. Expect a weaker heart. I mean, Ronnie, I was telling you this. I know somebody who got a heart attack in the gym from pre-workout. Just weakening the vessels on the heart, just the stimulant. But I think he was on gear too, and that'll weaken your vessels. The more you stretch out your blood vessels, unless you're taking this stuff to actually line your blood vessels, which is like silicon and other certain supplements, you dramatically increase heart damage and all kinds of things.
We might have had this conversation off camera, and Bryce, you're familiar with Grego Gallagher?
Yes.
What's your opinion on, I mean, he comes back all the time with blood work that's clean.
Yeah.
He's not on juice, he's not on gear according to this paperwork. How easy is that in this world to fake? I mean, can you go to a doctor and get something like that?
Well, what's his name? Matt Does Fitness did consistent blood work over time. That's basically the only way to debunk your natty or not status.
Okay.
Is by doing consistent blood work over a course of 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
Because that way you really can't fake it. If you're sustaining that muscle mass and you're taking those tests, proof is in the pudding.
You've seen Grego Gallagher's physique. What do you think? Do you think he's...
No, I don't
think he's on anything.
I don't think he's juicing. I think it's one of those thresholds where his physique just produces more testosterone than the average.
Okay.
He can obtain more muscle mass than the average person.
Okay.
And he just looks that good because he trains good. He eats clean. So.
Yeah.
And he's knowledgeable, so he's going to get that result regardless.
Okay.
I got to know something, Bryce. People who do steroids, they take supplements too.
Of course they do. Everybody takes supplements.
So
Should
take supplements.
Yes.
My guess is if you're natural, my question, if you're natural and you want to get big, but you want to be healthy, are there supplements out there that are going to help you do that?
Absolutely. I would say first, just get your blood work done, because people can tell you what you're low on, and there is supplements for getting those levels back to balanced. So, but regardless of that, you don't got blood work, you just want to go to your local vitamin shop and get some supplements. I would say vitamin D3 is an extremely slept on supplement. A lot of people don't get the proper amount of sunlight, which is what produces it. So I believe I say 10,000 IUs because 5,000 is pretty weak in my opinion.
What's an IU?
Is how much like per pill of
It's a
vitamin
measurement of
D3.
how much is in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
So one is
okay.
5,000 IUs, so 2 pills, but 10,000 IUs for those who are reading the bottle. Fish oil is great because a lot of people don't eat fish. So if you want to just have that supplement right before you have a big meal, you can get your daily fish oil. What other supplements are there?
I mean, there are a lot of supplements. I mean,
There's a ton.
pretty much.
I'll give you my hippie take. I mean, there's things like maca, ashwagandha. I think things like that. It's a mental boost, but I think clinically they've shown that it can do good for testosterone. If you're a male, it'll do good for you. If you're a female, I think it can also increase test, which you may or may not want if you're a female watching.
What is this? Ashwagandha?
Ashwagandha.
That's a nootropic right there. I mean, that's going to make you feel and think a certain way.
Yep.
That makes you
Especially women.
Well, lately it's been this trend that a lot of people have been making comedy videos to where they say something funny to their friend and they go, "When your friend's on ashwagandha," and then they pan to him and he's just emotionless because apparently that's when, like, if you take it for a certain amount of time, apparently your feelings become dull, just nothing's hitting the same. So
Wow.
I guess it's one of those, be wary of it. If you're starting to feel like that, hop off of it because mind over gains.
Well, look, I think there are some more supplements out there that help you actually build mass. I think L-carnitine is an amino, and there are like 4 or 5 aminos that will get you your. I mean, I don't even know exactly what they do, but I know they make you bigger. That's all I know.
L-arginine too? That's the nitric oxide component amino acid that gives you more
Well,
volume.
look
like
it up.
O2 volume in your blood.
Look it up.
I know glutamine's a great recovery supplement.
There's a pill I take daily, and I've replaced it with coffee. It has caffeine in it, and it's got nootropics. So it focuses on your focus and your mental health, but it also has a fat burning component in it. It's got other stuff. It just kind of keeps you going all day. Lipo Rush is what it's called, and we're not sponsored by Lipo Rush, but it is something to look at. It got me off coffee, and it's got all this stuff in it. I can't name it all right now, but
So fun fact, so L-arginine, I only know this because when I was weightlifting at the time, I think I used to take, was it NO Explode?
yeah,
NO
I still
Explode.
take that.
Was that the red bottle?
Yeah,
That's what I was taking, and I remember there being a lot of L-arginine. So fun fact for everybody watching here on the podcast too, L-arginine is converted in the body into a chemical called nitric oxide.
yeah.
Nitric oxide causes blood vessels to open wider for improved blood flow. And then it goes on to talk about another amino acid, but L-arginine.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's good for sex too, right?
It does say here
Pop
it helps
that.
with erectile dysfunction.
All right, boom,
So.
got it.
I need to buy this right now.
Well, you're a little young, I think. You gotta.
Nah, if I couldn't get it up at 20.
Not a brag.
No, that's not a rag. That's a sag.
That's a sag.
Yeah, SAG.
SAG.
But meanwhile, while we got the computer up, let's search up top 10 best natural physiques of all time. Because I think there's an article that's got a bunch of bullshit.
I'm sure there is.
So you think there are some natty, some self-proclaimed natty influencers, natty. I mean, what would you call them? And they
We call them fake natties.
fake
Fake
natties, and you think they're fake. I probably think they're fake. My question is, do you think?
Perfect. That's the one.
Do you think these? Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
We'll go down this list in 30 seconds.
Yeah. You think they're fooling anybody?
Do I think fake natties are fooling anybody? Absolutely. I think there's 100% a majority of their audience that truly can't identify what a fake natural physique is and what a natural physique is. There's a lot of different telltale signs that say, oh, this is probably what a steroid user would be like.
There's certain characteristics in every single industry that you can look at. When you're a beginner in anything, when you're a beginner in surfing, I know you're a car guy, when you're a beginner in the car world, you look at something and you might not know what to look for, but it's fast and it sounds cool. So you're just immediately, I don't know the internals of it, so it is what it is at that point.
You know
good
what?
example.
Steve Cook, actually, I don't know. I'm sure he went on gear a few times, but I don't think he's been on
That
gear.
looks like a natural physique to me.
He was benching 315.
Sort of.
The quads
Sort
look
of.
sus.
The legs are, yeah.
The quads
that's-
are sus.
I don't know how many times he said this, but I heard at least one time in one of his videos he said he was benching 315 freshman year of high school.
That's ridiculous.
Well, no, but I kind of believe it. I kind of believe it. Mike Menser was benching like 370 in high school. There are some strong guys out there. And this guy, I'm sure he was on gear a few times. He probably got on gear to go do that video with Thor Bjornsson up in Iceland.
I've never seen that.
Well, yeah, he worked out with him, and he did the Thor workout, and he couldn't keep up. But I think this guy's probably been natural most of the time.
Quickly, I want to diverge and then Bryce go. Here's one that really bothers me. Zac Efron when he was in Baywatch.
Oh my.
That frustrated me so much because you would literally have YouTube videos of the media covering this. Look at this. Look at Zac Efron in the gym, and here's his coach, and his coach is just like, well, yeah, you put in the hours. It's like, no, dude. It's called you're an A-list celebrity, and you have access to whatever the fuck. Anyway, tangent for.
They're
off
all
camera.
on gear. They're all on gear. Everybody in Hollywood's on gear if they're doing a superhero movie or anything else. They're doing gear, and if they're not doing gear, they're doing peptides, which is segments of growth hormone, human growth hormones. But yeah, Bryce, you were going to say something super interesting.
Well, yeah, because lately, I don't know why, but some bodybuilders feel the need that once they come off their gear, they've been on a fucking cycle for 5 to 10 years. They come off their gear, and then they're off of it for a year, and then they proclaim that they're a natural physique now. So I just don't understand how someone who's been taking gear most of their life has received all this progress and reaped all the benefits of steroids, and can somehow find the audacity in themselves to say, yeah, this is a natural physique now. I'm going to say that this is my natural strength, muscle mass, whatever.
I have a thought on that, but go ahead.
Do you think it's because of the business model? These giant guys get on social media with these cannonball shoulders and, beer guts, but they have an 18-pack to sell their line of pre-workout or to sell the line of... do you think that's what it is? That's what I think it is.
It very well could be. I would say there's a bunch of different components that could lead to all just
That
being
goes
the
into
reason, but that could definitely be one of the main ones.
Do you think that'll ever play itself out?
No,
I don't
I think it's
either.
more frowned upon than being just a fake natty.
What? No, I disagree. I think being huge, getting as huge as you possibly can, is always going to be popular. I think it's
You got to rephrase your question, though.
okay. Let me be more clear about that.
Oh my gosh, just get this
All right.
fucking clown
Is
on.
that's yeah?
So
Jeff-
Jeff's side, natty or not on Jeff's side, absolutely fucking not. If you
Does he
think,
claim natural?
yeah. So if you think
Wow,
that,
okay.
so this is someone who has won their IFBB Pro card. He could have stepped on the Olympia stage when he got it. If you think that obtaining your IFBB Pro card naturally is a thing, you're delusional. This is not a thing. This is a complete false perception of bodybuilding. You cannot do this. Jeff's side is a product of a fake natural that tried to do it.
I could do that if I got really good at Photoshop. I think I could do that.
Yeah.
Now, my God, this guy has the craziest genetics, and then to also stack that with whatever he was on. This.
Well,
this
that's
is,
what
this
I was
is
gonna say.
reminiscent of Z's.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say is because there are a lot of athletes that go into the gym and they're born athletic. You played lacrosse. I played lacrosse when I was younger, and I went to the gym. I was huge, and I wasn't doing steroids. Yeah, not a chance. Not a freaking chance.
Dante Franklin. I don't know who this is.
I don't know who this is either.
You don't get a peak like that.
You don't get the dryness like that.
No, you don't
So
do that.
let's take a look at his stats. So he's 6 foot, weighing in at 220 or 230 pounds. I'll let you guys, give the conciseness on that.
No.
There's no way.
Dante Franklin is a genetic freak.
No.
He probably is. Maybe before the,
Yeah.
What I was saying is, I think there are people that can go into the gym already strong because they've conditioned their bodies throughout their childhood, and then go into gear and get even stronger, and then go off of gear and continue to be strong, and then go back on gear and do it right, And then I think there are people that walk into the gym and they look for easy gains. Probably didn't play sports in high school. Probably were fat or pudgy or something going in, and they want to do it the easy way, right? There's nothing wrong with going into the gym if you're fat and you want to better yourself.
Sure.
But don't claim that it's because of hard work that a year later, you've got the body of a god, right? That doesn't happen. Those are fakes, and they like to say they're natural. They're fakes, But I think some of these guys, I think if they put in the work all throughout high school and college and everything else, and then go into the gym and then do gear once every couple years, I don't have a problem with that because I think they're healthy from the start.
It's not that it's a problem with it, it's being open about it. Because those that try to hide it and make it seem like they're still natural, dibble dabble in a little gear, take a cycle here and there, and still don't talk about it, still say and proclaim that they're natty, I think that's bullshit. But if you're open about it, I don't give a fuck, dude. I want to hop on gear. Like, everybody wants to hop on gear. They just don't want to lose their natty card. Because once you lose your natty card in today's world, it's super frowned upon.
Right. There's this level of fakeness that comes into play where you don't want your followers to know that you were on gear, because if you do, now you're going to see again, this is stemming back to my business model assumption of it. If they find out you're on gear, Jeff Seed is going to lose. I don't even know what his brand is or who he promotes. I think at one time, I remember looking into it, it was Optimum Nutrition, I think at one point.
Yeah.
Nitroflex, I think.
Yeah, he's going to lose all those sales. Jeff Seed's probably making 10, 15, 20. I'm not going to assume.
Wasn't he doing Gymshark too?
Same thing with that, exactly. So they're going to lose their affiliate. And if they lose their affiliate, they have no more income. And I don't want to stem too far off of this, but I think with social media, what's going to happen here is you have all of these really talented people putting out content. It's really bizarre to me that there's this much content circulating around the internet now, and these platforms aren't paying more. You know what YouTube makes.
Yeah.
You know what YouTube is paying their top creators. They could easily, just from a small percentage of their ad revenue alone, TikTok could pay you from their ad revenue alone significantly more. So I think anyway, I don't want to go too far off on a tangent here, but I think at some point there's going to be a platform that will pay their creators very well, and you'll have Jeff Seed, an influencer that'll get on that platform and go, hey guys, yeah, you know what? Maybe I am I'm not natural, and he's not worried about losing his affiliate.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Let's get into the next guy, Lazar Angelov.
That looks like a pretty. Shoulders are a little sus.
No, you know what? I like I was saying before, he probably did one or two cycles.
It looks like he did a cycle before.
And that's the thing is, if you take your PCT, your post-cycle testosterone, and you do everything correctly, you can keep some of that strength, and it's hard coming off.
How long do you keep a physique like this after going off steroids?
Well, that's the thing is your body has to readjust, and you can walk out of steroids with more muscle mass, and you'll lose some of that muscle mass. But if you can keep up, you're gonna have to work harder. But if you can keep up that hard work, you will have a bigger body than you would have had if you didn't do the cycle, and you won't be relying on testosterone anymore. And that's I just think it puts some people in a different category.
Okay. So this is a really legitimate article, guys.
We're discrediting it. Oh my god.
Yeah, fake.
No.
100%.
So let me get I like Mike Thurston.
I think he's a great guy.
I think he's good on social media.
He's great on social media. He was very open about a hair transplant that he did, and I thought that was really cool because he already had built like a pretty significant following. And Mike, if you ever somehow see this, with his physique like that, okay, he went and got the hair transplant. He's super open about it. Why not just at that point? You're already being open about like one of the most personal things I think a guy could probably ever talk about, at least on the internet, maybe other than like sex related shit, right? Why not just come out and talk about your physique if he's on, you know what I mean?
I mean, I think that's what his whole...
Does it go back to the affiliate thing that I was saying earlier? Okay.
I think his whole thing is modeled around his physique because he's always had an amazing physique, even when he was natural. But there was that little, it was like a year's time that he just blew up like that.
Fun fact, when I was watching him, you guys, I know, just brought some light onto this. I always sort of figured he wasn't, but that was like my ideal physique. I would always try to get
It's an amazing physique. It's a great physique to model after because I believe a good amount of people have that kind of build, not so much like a David Lade kind of build.
Right.
Because that's a very unique genetic.
Right.
This is more of a norm. Like I could see a bunch of football players could get to that if they wanted to.
Okay.
But
Okay. Let's see who's up next about.
just skip this one.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I see his workouts. There's no way those workouts
When your
are
abs
putting
stay
on.
in place like that, it's
Yeah.
either implants or steroids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. On to the next.
Simian Panda. Oh my gosh, what a fucking joke.
Yeah.
But do you, like, okay, so I'm an average Joe. I get on whatever. I haven't lifted touch weights in some time now, right? Like other things will sort of keep me in shape, but I'm not hitting PRs. I'm not in the gym. The whole nine. If I go to Google and I type this in and I'm an average Joe and I type in what we just typed in,
Yeah.
10 best natural physiques in the fitness world, and I see this, dude, if I don't look like this after like 4 years,
That's what we were
3
talking
years?
about the last time.
dude, I think that's where this whole depression spell thing
Yes.
stems from. 100%. You would see this and go, oh, okay, Fitness Volt. This has to be a trusted article. People trust the internet, which is still, very bizarre to me on a very surface level. But yeah, you would see this and be like, how do I get this?
No, you don't. You
You
don't.
don't get it. It's a sad reality, but it's one we all got to come to.
Yeah, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah. That's pretty.
Hard to
It's
say.
tough.
It's
Is
tough
that
because
photo?
you know why it's
It's just
tough.
an amazing V taper. First off,
Yeah.
Paul
I think
Kruger. I haven't heard of him.
it's tough because he didn't wax his
Let's see.
chest.
Let's see some of his stats.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow, and Paul, for some reason on this site.
Oh,
we're
he
not
won the
talking
2021
stats.
Natural Olympia. Oh, okay. So this is probably a natural competitor.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I love those guys. There's one absolutely fucking like he could compete in the Olympia in classic physique and probably do pretty well, and he's natural. It's some of those just genetic fucking anomalies that you'll never understand why they are how they are naturally, and it's just one of those realizations that you have to come to that they're him.
Let me ask, Bryce, you want to be a personal trainer, you want to get people, you want to train bodybuilders.
Yeah.
You want to train people to be the best. To compete
Mm-hmm.
or just to be a bodybuilder?
Yeah. Whether you want to start a social media account and have that kind of physique for inspiring others.
Do you have a principle here? Or are you going to say, I'm going to train you to be a natural bodybuilder?
No.
Or are
Whatever
you
path you wanna-
comfortable entering that next tier of bodybuilders that are on gear? Because, I mean, if you're on gear, you have to train every single striation, every single fine muscle out there. Mm-hmm. You got to train that. Are you
I can
ready for
target
that?
it like that too. I would say honestly, having a client that is open to gear or wholeheartedly wants to decide that themselves, that they want to do gear, they want to do this process on gear. I would 100% be completely acceptable to that, and I honestly think it would be easier for me to train someone who is on gear, just because no matter what, I don't care how dumb you are, how much you don't understand the basics and ethics of lifting. I can still absolutely destroy your muscle in whatever way possible.
They're going to grow.
They're gonna grow.
They're going to grow.
So no matter what, you're gonna see benefits. You're gonna see the progress. So it's gonna be easier for me, but obviously it would be easier for someone who is a lot more coachable. A question would be, is it better to have a natural competitor who's a lot more coachable, or someone who's on gear that isn't that coachable? That would be that's a nail biter. Like, I don't know which one.
Well, no, I think you'd want to go with the natty because I think
honestly think I would go
getting a
with the
wild card, and they somehow screw it up, you got to take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
How many people, Bryce, do you get in your DMs asking you to train them? Like, and second question to this, are you monetizing your TikTok? Do you have sort of like a link tree set up where they can book a coaching session with you?
Not yet. I'm eventually. I'm seeking. I'll tease it a little bit. I eventually want to create essentially a community where I can have whoever in my following wants. It's joinable by everybody.
Okay.
And have a whole community of gym bros to where everybody can drop what they're doing, what they're hitting today. It's a constant community throughout the day. So like, hey, was everybody lifting today? Blah, blah, blah. So I want to kind of create that community so everybody can be brought together, but also everybody can ditch out advice to each other. If someone's like, hey, I'm lagging in this body part, anybody got tips to make this feel a little bit more? Some Joe Schmo that's from the chat, that's whatever, says, hey, I got a perfect solution. They can text each other on the side, whatever.
Have you thought about like things like Discord, Telegram, things like that? Just you'll get around to it? Okay.
Discord's the main one.
Okay. Cool.
Thanks,
Okay.
Dick. But no, I haven't. Have I gotten too many people in my DMs? I don't think so. Mainly because I'm not pitching it out like that. I'm mainly, as
You're
you
not
said.
pitching, hey, book with me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't come off as like, hey, I'm coaching people.
Okay.
I'm coming off as a comedian.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
But I'm sure when some people see my pictures of my physique, they're like, oh, I wonder if he coaches. And I'm trying to set up the most fucking badass program that anybody can do, guaranteed progress type shit.
Cool.
So
Okay.
it's a big project.
I got a weird question. Has anybody called you a fake natty?
A couple of times. Earlier on, it was a lot more sus because in those first 2 years, I put on a significant amount of muscle mass. Like I was this at 160.
Okay, and then you went off the test?
Yeah, exactly.
You're a tall dude.
Yeah, 6'1", so it's not short, but in bodybuilding, that's classified as tall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
What's a good size for bodybuilding?
ideally, naturally, if you want to compete, 5'8", you have good potential.
Really?
Steroids or not, you have good potential, 5'8", 5'9", just because if your goal is 10 years, you want to get to a certain level, you can pack on that amount of
You
size.
can get wide. The shorter you are, the wider you can get.
Are there any tall, like basketball tall bodybuilders, or
This
is that
one fucking guy, oh,
one guy? Okay.
I mean, he's looking to compete soon.
Okay.
I just got to pull up his Instagram because
Okay.
he is an absolute. I saw
Yeah, I've
him
always
in
been
person.
curious about that. Like, are there any like 6'5", 6'6", 6'7"
He's six.
motherfuckers?
He's
that are
6'5",
just-
250.
Wow, dude.
So-
Holy shit. Okay.
We could throw him up on the screen.
Okay. Yeah.
This motherfucker got any pictures?
Who do you think is going to take it this year at Mr. Olympia?
Jesus, dude.
Let me see this.
Like that's just his back, and he's
Damn.
such a novice at posing.
That's crazy.
Like I was trying to like teach him a couple tips and here and there.
Wow.
But the potential.
So this is somebody that you know.
yeah.
Oh wow.
So he works out with Blessing Awodabu right now, who's going to be top 5 at the Olympia for sure this year. Locked.
Who's your pick for Mr. Olympia?
Open and Classic. Classic, I got Chris Bumstead. It's a lock. Open,
so?
Open. It's interesting because Big Rami's looking fucking amazing right now. His progress pictures are looking ridiculous at just 8 weeks out. But Blessing is an absolute dark horse in this. Like, not racist, but no, he's an absolute dark horse. Like one of those sleeper picks that you won't see coming from behind. He's got an amazing shoulder to waist ratio. Nick Walker, fuck, he's just a threat. Like no matter what. I personally don't like him. I think he's a bit of a dick. But regardless, I think his physique is definitely going to be top 4 maybe.
Why would you say he's a bit of a dick?
I've heard stories about people trying to go and interact with him at the gym, and he's just been a little hard-headed. I get it. You're trying to work out. You're probably trying to be in the zone. But at the same time, you're entering a world where you're making it acceptable for people to come up to you and for people to ask picks. People want
That's
to
true.
approach
You're going to put yourself out there like that.
If anybody
Yeah.
comes up to me, I'm the most fucking personable, happy guy. Like, I love when people come up to me. I'm pissed no one's taking a picture with me yet, but it'll come.
Oh, dude, I'll take a picture with you, bro.
I've seen it where, so when I was in the West Coast for a little bit, we would sometimes go to like Hollywood Hills parties, LA parties, things like that. And like, for instance, Saddle Ranch, when I saw Connor Murphy there, he didn't have people running up on him, but there were people that were within Saddle Ranch that were other influencers. David Dobrik being on that same exact level. Danny Duncan. Yes, they're like, what's up, dude? Yeah, here, whatever, get a phone. But they weren't like, and I think it gets to a point where you have so many people maybe running up on
Yeah.
you that it just becomes like
It's the same thing.
a
Like,
chore, you know?
with making content, you get burnout. It can be 100%
Right.
the same thing because it is throughout your day. Like,
Right.
there's, you know when you're going to make the content. You're making the
You've
time.
got fans finding out your address. They show
Yeah,
up to
that-
your house.
It can get bad. It can get bad for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's go down the list. Rob Riches. I don't know who this is. That's a crazy physique.
Nuts.
That's-
Look at the striations
That's,
in his chest. I mean,
I classify dick skin as that.
Yeah.
What is it? He looks short though. He looks like 5'9".
I'm gonna say 5'9", 5'10".
5'10", 185 to 195. See, but it's one of those angles to where
Hard to say.
16-inch biceps. Oh yeah, he's natty.
Okay.
Yeah, no
Okay.
doubt. It's
So
just one of the.
extremely
it's-
low body fat.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the fuck are you kidding me?
This is what I'm
Those
saying.
are the veins. You
Anton
can see it right there.
Antipov. Wow. Sick physique though.
It is a good physique. I wouldn't mind looking like that.
I wouldn't either. But it's like how much gear the average would have to take to even try to get that. Because people don't understand that these guys at the Mr. Olympia that are in the open, they're hyper responders to gear.
Look
This
at-
guy
look
is
at
too.
how
Yeah.
wide his shoulders are.
No, that's insane.
That's testosterone.
It's a great core,
shoulder.
too.
That's steroid shoulders. Anton Antipov.
5'10".
Wow.
180 to 183. Oh, yeah, and he's an IFBB pro. Okay. Continue.
That's all you needed.
Yeah. Brandon
Lario.
Lario.
That one's kind of hard to say. Maybe a little bit of something. Maybe like some test.
Shitty pictures. His legs definitely don't tell me too much because legs are a big tail now because
Okay.
when you have drooping hamstrings from like a side chest
Yep.
like this.
Yep.
Is the cannonball shoulder still a telltale?
Yeah,
Yep.
100%.
Okay. Okay.
That does look like steroids, but it doesn't look like he's been on steroids a really long time.
No.
So a fresh start to steroids.
Kind of, yeah.
The road to steroids. Okay.
Sadiq is an IFBB pro. He's absolutely not fucking natty. He's top 5 at the Olympics.
Thanks,
sometimes.
Google. Top 10 natural.
Mashik Ochi. See, this is where I just.
See, I just look at that though, and again,
Yeah.
what you guys are saying, legs. That for me is like, dude, obvious, right?
That looks like synthol to me.
synthol.
That's
really?
how bad that looks.
I don't think
really?
it's synthol.
No, the shoulders
He
there,
looks old though. He looks like
He looks
40s.
like he could be like 38.
the legs there, that looks like synthol.
5'2". See, that's what's his name? He just won the 212.
Nicknamed the natural Ronnie Coleman.
No,
Did he compete?
not a chance.
He definitely competed in some natural.
He was born in
organizations.
Kenya, started training in his backyard with some dumbbells and barbells, started competing soon after and won every contest he participated in.
But what's his name? Sean Clarita. He's one of the shortest bodybuilders of all time.
Okay.
But that's where those things of how much does height come into play.
Okay.
That comes into play.
Dude, 5'2" that is really fucking
That's
small.
really
Is that
fucking
not
short.
classified as a midget?
No, I think it's below 4'10".
Oh, really?
How
Okay.
do you know this?
Banged a couple midgets in my day.
Nice. That's
Off
pe-
camera discussion.
Off camera.
that's
Derek
pedophilia.
Joe.
Jared Joe, never heard of this guy.
See, legs. I don't think those are unnatty legs. I think that's.
Those legs actually look like they could be pretty Yeah, I mean, that looks like a natural.
I think he's just got great arms. That's amazing biceps insertions. Really short, really peaked out. See, and lats are a big tail sign too because look at Chris Bumstead. He has some of the widest fucking lats, like barn doors, like bats fucking hanging out when he opens up. It's absolutely ridiculous. But when you look at a lot of natural competitors, you'll see that their V taper isn't based on their lat. It's just based on their waist and
Their
how
waistline.
and how wide their arms are.
Okay. Okay.
And because it is a close androgen receptor to your shoulders and traps, so they could
Okay.
have some relation. Ryan Terry, he is IFBB pro. Gone.
No. Okay.
Like, look at
He
that.
looks short too.
He's short.
Okay.
5'10"? Fuck off.
Okay.
You're 5'8" in person.
Okay.
Jeff Rodriguez. See, now it's getting tough.
No, look at his shoulders, man. I think that's a.
His shoulders don't
Shoulders
kept
look
at all.
natural.
Yeah, those are natural shoulders. I think those are really great legs.
Yeah. Homie's got really good leg
And
genetics.
it's the same thing with his abdominals. Like, you can tell those his ab insertions they're good, but they're not drooping
Like-
out. They're not when you're even relaxed. They're not popping out.
5'9".
Yeah.
5'9". Yeah. See, these are all heights and stats that.
Regarded as the Frank Zane of natural bodybuilding. Frank Zane? Who is Frank Zane? Why does
Click
that
the
sound
button.
Oh my gosh, one of the best physiques of all time.
Oh, wow.
Best vacuum of all time.
Wow. Yeah, look at that. Wow.
But he kept a significant amount of muscle mass in his 70s. Like I don't know how he.
Is Arnold still on stuff? Schwarzenegger? No?
I don't think so.
I don't think he's lifting.
But is he still?
No, he's-
but is he taking stuff though outside of even just lifting? Do you think? At
You
this
know,
age,
he
just
probably
to-
is taking something mild just to
Okay.
stay alive.
I mean, how is this natural?
It's not.
No.
No. Look at the quads. That's what I mean. And look at
And
his
I
lats.
love how he's. Oh, okay. There's the bio. I was like, where's the bio at? Like they just the bio for.
But you can see in his lats versus the other guy. The other guy was like,
Yeah, dude, he looks like he could take flight. Like if he jumped off a building,
Yeah.
he could fly with his lats.
I definitely wanted.
Let's see who's number one, guys.
Yeah.
We're going to the bottom of the.
Hang on. Can we guess?
Mike O'Hearn.
You think so?
Probably no.
Who's going to be natural? Number one.
Yeah.
Dude, I haven't been in this. If I was to guess, I don't even know.
I think it's Mike O'Hearn.
Who's the blonde guy that does Optimum Nutrition, and he's got a crazy physique, like OG Optimum Nutrition.
Optimum Nutrition.
You talking about Steve Cook?
No, I don't think it's Cook. I thought it was somebody else. Anyway, who do you guys guess?
I said Mike
Mike
O'Hearn.
O'Hearn. And coming in at number one.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
I've
That
seen
was
the
good.
article.
On the money.
Wow.
The biggest fake natty of them all. You piece of shit. For this guy to claim natty for so long.
Oh, he's open about claiming natty?
Oh yeah. He gets called out on it all the time. Kenny KO does a justice to the world by calling him out any chance
We
he gets.
saved the best and the most controversial for last.
Mike O'Hearn. 21-inch biceps.
This article, it makes you want to like strangle the writer. Mike O'Hearn, oh no, sorry, not Mike O'Hearn. Most fitness junkies regard Mike O'Hearn as the best natural bodybuilder of all time.
Fitness Volt, you do wonders.
Well, all those fitness junkies are probably on gear too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's like an inside ring of.
right.
Well, that wraps up a top. What was that? 15 natural, natural, with maybe what, 2 guys being natural on that list?
2 to 3.
2 to 3. Yeah, that's just sad, dude.
Nah, it's terrible.
That's really sad.
And unfortunately, I feel like it's only going to get worse over time.
Yep. Well, it's so easy. Nobody has to know. You know, nobody has to know that you're on gear.
No,
You
unless
know?
you tip, unless you just.
And
go
there are
to the
enough. I think there are enough suckers out there. Usually younger kids, right?
Yeah, I know this one kid that's 17 on 500 mils a test. Like, it's like, why?
Wow.
But looks good. Like, I get it if you don't give a fuck about what's going to happen later on and you just want to do it for the meantime. Sure.
Yeah, if he's burning all the boats, dude, and he's going down with them, cool. Like, that's a badass way,
Yeah.
to do it. Like, go all in. But yeah, if you're like, well, I saw some kid on TikTok do it, so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, that's where I don't. That's the problem with being open about your gear use.
Right.
You can just say you're not natural and
Right.
not tell these kids what you do because then they're going to try to emulate that.
Right. Right.
I honestly don't have anything against steroids or steroid users. I think it's meant for a lot of people. You know, I know it's benefited a lot of people. Benefited Captain America. No,
Zac Efron.
right? No, it does. It really does change someone's life. I think if you were at the bottom, you know, and you don't have any friends maybe or whatever, and you need something. I mean, you need something to just to get you going. You know, it's always an option. And it's not the worst option. I mean, it's better than taking your own life. You know, you could take your own life, or you could do steroids and become a completely different person. You know, I think steroids has a place in this world. I do.
My quick opinion on that is I think mental health, as we discussed, is so much more at large in general that should be classified, like declassified for everybody. So if you're getting into the fitness world, and it's a body image thing that you're coming from, or you feel like you're not getting enough girls, that's a cool start. Don't get me wrong. Like, tons of my friends back in high school, we all got into lifting because of girls. I mean, for the most part, we weren't 17 like, yeah, bro, like, I just want to look bigger than you. Maybe some kids were. But if you're really struggling, like, with mental health, this is a great start. Fitness is 100%. Get your ass into the gym. You're going to get endorphins from it. It's just going to boost you up. I understand that. But I think with steroids, like, man, it's a really fine line that you're walking.
Look, here's my position on it. I think some of these guys, some of these people who are openly on gear or fake natties, they're role models to a lot of people.
Sure.
You know, and they show people an ideal that someone may or may not be able to achieve. And if someone's willing to take the next step and do steroids and try to be like that person, then, you know, that's on them. But there are worse alternatives out there.
There's
But
a lot of worse alternatives.
also, you know, I think it's opened up an entirely new, not just an industry, but just a new culture to figure out how people can better their bodies without steroids. Well, you see what steroids can do. Okay, what's the next step? What's the next thing out there that's going to help us, you know, advance? And I don't know. I think there is a place for steroids. I'm not advocating steroid use, but I'm not.
You're not against it.
No, I think everybody can choose what they want to do, and I think, you know, a lot of natural bodybuilders, they get made fun of just as much as steroid users do because they're in the gym every single day, and they're not like huge. Like, I go to the gym several times a day, or not. Ugh, jeez, wouldn't that be terrible, huh? Several times a week, and you know, people tell me like, "Why are you always in the gym?" And it's like you're not even like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I like being fit, you know, but people still get on to me just for going to the gym.
But I would classify you as really good at powerlifting, right? Like you have, let's run through your big three.
I mean, right now,
No,
absolutely
all time.
terrible. All time, I don't know. I mean, for never doing steroids, it's pretty good. So my deadlift was like five something. I don't know. Let's see. 495, so I guess 545, probably 545. Bench 315.
Okay.
I never got over that.
Squat.
Squat.
You look like a 435 guy.
No. I think I might have done I might have done 455 at one point.
Okay.
I know I've done 405. I know I've done that.
So
and I never took it like super seriously, but I was just consistent, and I went to the gym every day. And it wasn't like I have to be a bodybuilder. You know, I was never like I have to do this. It's just I went every day. I got stronger. I just pushed myself. You know. That's
So
all
from
anybody
a
has to do.
powerlifter's perspective, is sumo deadlifting considered cheating?
Yeah, it's absolutely cheating. Are you kidding? That's, I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it's a real workout, but I don't think it's like, you know, I think if you want to see how to go deadlift, go look at Thor Bjornsson, right? And he holds the world record, and he's not doing sumos.
He's not.
No, he's doing it the right way.
But there has been this surge of like 5 sumo deadlifters lately that have been trying. Jamal, what's his name? Jamal something. He's one of the best sumo deadlifters in the world. Just pulled 500 kg in the gym. But at the same time, it's like, I personally don't think. I think it's cheating.
Bryce, I'm from America. I don't know what 500 kg is. What is that in pounds?
1102.
Sheesh.
That was-
1102?
Yeah.
Holy fuck, man.
Holy.
And the guy weighs like 230.
When I hear numbers like that, dude, Hodge twins, we're seeing you in Snap City.
Yeah.
You're ending up in Snap City really quick.
Dude,
But
yeah.
it's funny because it's like when you shorten the range of motion that much, you really don't see that many people getting injured. When you widen your stance to that degree, you're taking so much lower back pressure off. But at the same time, it's like if you're gonna do it, just don't deadlift.
So you're a
my
proponent.
opinion.
You're a proponent of the sumo.
I'm a proponent of conventional. I think conventional it's in the name. Conventional, by definition, means it's based in accordance of what is done or believed to be the right way.
Okay, well, tell me then, what does because you're the personal trainer here. What does the sumo do for you?
I think it targets your hamstring significantly more than what a conventional deadlift would do. But at the same time, you're taking, I would say, at least 15 to 20% off the back load and the back benefits of a conventional deadlift. Because I believe that some of the best conventional deadlifters in the world have some of the biggest backs.
Oh, yeah.
Sebum deadlifts all the fucking time conventionally, and his back is thick as fuck. It's wide as fuck, and I don't know. I think a big conventional deadlift is the reason you have a good physique. I think doing a sumo deadlift is cheating. In terms of you're cutting corners, if you're 190, you somehow pull 700. I don't understand that. And you're 19, I don't get that. That shouldn't be a reality.
Okay. All right. Well, so you are a proponent of
You're
good
doing a
old-
conventional deadlift, right? Then you do something that's unconventional. That's
Yeah.
conventionally wrong. Like
Yeah. No.
You're doing an
No,
unconventional. That's why I don't like the name, because it's like sumo makes it seem like it's acceptable.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I wouldn't recommend just going to the gym and focusing on sumo deadlifts.
But I see kids bringing in fucking barbells in the gym and going to sumo deadlift for
You've
fucking
seen
plates.
kids
bring
bring a
in their
barbell?
own personal barbell. That's fucking. It was red and it was a nice deadlift bar. But literally
Really?
goes to the fucking squat platforms and just deadlifts, sumo deadlifts.
Wow. I mean, what's the point at that point? I mean, you get your own bar, you might as well get your own weights and do it out in the backyard.
If you want to say you pulled 5 plates for the one time, sure. But do it the right fucking way and do it conventionally, or it just doesn't count.
I
in my
agree
opinion.
100%. You know, conventional is just so hard, though. I mean, especially if you're starting out. I
It is so
I see
hard.
these kids, I think they look like they're going to Snap City on 145.
Yeah.
You know, they
We
are
need to
just
reintroduce these
bent
kids to
all the
box
way
sets.
over, bent all the way over on 145, and I want to go up. I want to go up and say something.
Yeah.
They turn around, they get real cocky, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna let you learn. Let you learn.
I'm
Snap
gonna
your
let you go to Snap City.
Snap your back and
yeah.
we'll talk.
No, I should say something though. All right, well, Bryce, it's been a pleasure having you on. It's
been great.
I learned a lot, and I didn't even pay for a session. So, how much is a session running these days for a little training with Bryce?
It's pretty fucking exclusive.
That should be your new the name of your new show, Training with Bryce.
Training with Trout.
Yeah, Training with Trout. That's got a better ring to it.
That'd be a edgy like training program too.
Well, I'll leak what I want my program, the program I'm working on to be called. I want it to be called the freshman program because I
Okay.
believe that everybody that starts off is a freshman, then we develop
that,
into
yeah.
seniors.
I like it.
So I'll leak that for now. It's the only leak we're doing.
Where are we going to be able to see this?
All over my social media. I'm going to fucking blow the shit out of it. It's going to be some of the most researched information, some of the best online coaching and in-person coaching if you're available. But
Okay, and no comedy classes.
no comedy, just fun.
well, that's extra. Well, that's extra. You charge extra for that.
If
Right.
you want to fucking laugh and some fun and game shit, 30 more bucks on the monthly. But no, for the most part, I want you to be serious about what you want to do. I want you to be serious and take charge of your life, take control of your physique, and get to your goals.
All right, guys, Bryce Trout. Check him out on TikTok, Instagram. You can see his handles right here. Phenomenal guy. He knows what he's talking about, and he knows how to make you laugh. Check him out. This is the Cheat Day Podcast, brought to you by Trainer Hub. Subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you want us to talk about next. It's Everything Fitness. We'll see you next time.